Tonight on CBS 19 News at 5, emotions boil over in court, but one big decision is still on hold, while the family must wait even longer for justice.
CBS News has learned additional Marines are headed to the Middle East as the war with Iran approaches 3 weeks. I'm Natalie Brand with what we know about the deployment.
90-degree temperatures inch closer to East Texas when they arrive in your forecast. Live from Tyler, CBS 19 News at 5 starts right now.
An East Texas man accused of killing his wife in Rusk County has a history of criminal convictions. Thank you for joining us for CBS 19 News at 5. I'm Dan Mallea. Investigators say 47-year-old Scott Thompson is being held in Arkansas on a Rusk County warrant in connection with the death of his wife, Amanda Thompson. The sheriff's officials say the victim was found dead from blunt force trauma on County Road 3122 in Mount Enterprise, and the suspect fled the scene before being located and arrested out of state. Today, court records show Thompson has prior convictions in Rusk and Gregg counties, including assault-related charges and probation violations spanning several years. New tonight, a sentencing decision is still pending in a deadly Mardi Gras parade shooting that killed an East Texas teen 3 years ago. Emotions ran high in a Caddo courtroom as families faced off ahead of sentencing for Jace Greenslate. Prosecutors say Greenslate reloaded a gun and fired the shot that killed Kip, arguing it was not an accident. The defense says Greenslate was just 16 at the time and is asking for probation instead of prison. The judge has not yet issued a sentence, leaving the victim's family still waiting for closure.
If 5 years is the maximum that we can get, I hope the judge will give him 5 years of actual jail time.
The family was hoping for a sentence today, but now they'll have to wait longer. The new sentencing date is April 13th. All right, let's head over to the Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. Brett, some fires going on around East Texas today, and even if you weren't seeing them directly, you could have been seeing some of the effects, you're telling me.
Yeah, there's a lot of haze in the sky, especially over parts of deep East Texas where there may be prescribed or controlled burns going on. So much so that the smoke's pretty thick, and once we get down to sunset, we'll have a colorful sunset, especially from our Nacogdoches camera. Currently, it's 82 degrees at Nacogdoches. It's humid. The dew point now into the lower 60s. We have a breezy south wind, kind of be dangerous to be burning today, but look at all these current fires being picked up by our satellites and reports. One thick one down here in Angelina County, and that smoke is blowing toward Nacogdoches. There are elevated fire concerns for tomorrow and again on Sunday thanks to some breezy winds. So if you can avoid outdoor burning, I would. I'm going to guess that the prescribed burns or controlled burns are to sort of maybe prevent faster spread of fires in the future. Right now, pretty warm outside. 85 at Marshall and Longview. We're at 82 at Lufkin and Nacogdoches. Mineola and Sulphur Springs and Mount Pleasant are warmest spots on the board at 87 degrees. It was warmer in West Texas today. Look at Amarillo, 92 degrees. A little hot spot there closer to San Angelo. Maybe Midland and Odessa probably topping out around 95 degrees. Tonight, warm, 78 by 8 p.m. Temperatures drop to 71 by midnight. Then overnight tonight, it's almost like a summer-like night or an early summer-like night. First night of spring features a lot of us seeing overnight lows in the lower 60s. For instance, Carthage, 61 degrees, 61 at Mineola and Tyler, 62 at Jacksonville, 62 at Henderson. Coming up, we are looking for rain. We're going to check it out in your 7-day forecast.
Thanks, Brett. More U.S. service members are on the way to the Middle East as the war with Iran nears the 3-week mark. Today, President Trump called NATO allies cowards for not sending troops to help open the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway that Iran is blocking. Natalie Brand has more.
Iran launched a new wave of missiles overnight. Among the targets, another major oil refinery in Kuwait. The attacks come as President Trump touted the success of the U.S. operation.
We are doing really well. We're not going to let them have nuclear weapons, because if they had them, they'd use them, and we're not going to let that happen.
Speaking during a trophy presentation for the U.S. Navy football team at the White House Friday, the president said most of Iran's leadership is gone.
We're having a hard time. We want to talk to them, and there's nobody to talk to. We have nobody to talk to, and you know what? We like it that way.
Iran released a statement Friday attributed to its new supreme leader, Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei. In it, he praised Iranians' resilience and said the enemy has been defeated. But notably, it was a written statement. He was not seen or heard. CBS News has learned there is a second Marine Expeditionary Unit consisting of about 2,200 Marines and 3 warships now headed to the Middle East after departing California this week. That's in addition to the movement of the USS Tripoli to the region, carrying more than 2,000 Marines. The buildup comes as President Trump again criticized NATO, calling the alliance cowards in a Truth Social post Friday for not helping open the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is blocking the critical waterway that around 20% of the world's oil supply passes through. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Congress hopes to solve the ongoing Department of Homeland Security shutdown by the end of next week. Both chambers are set to leave Washington on a 2-week recess for the Easter and Passover holidays on March 27th. Senate Majority Leader John Thune has warned he could keep the chamber in session by canceling some or all that planned recess without a funding breakthrough. Thune and other GOP leaders are pushing hard to convince Democrats to back a compromise bill on federal immigration enforcement, which is at the heart of the stalemate. Key GOP and Democratic senators sat down Thursday with White House border czar Tom Homan in an attempt to reach a deal to reopen DHS. Security lines for air travelers have been unpredictable this week as some airports see high levels of callouts by Transportation Security Administration officers who are working without pay. Passengers across the country faced up to 2-hour wait times and long security times as many are either wrapping up or starting their spring breaks. On Capitol Hill, the impasse shows no sign of breaking anytime soon. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says if Congress can't come to an agreement on funding DHS, air travel will only become more difficult.
This is going to look like child's play, what's happening right now. You're going to see small airports, I believe, shut down. You're going to see extensive lines, and air travel is going to almost come to a grid halt, stop.
The headaches may keep coming as a surge in jet fuel prices because of the war with Iran, meaning that there could also be a possible spike in fares. And a little more rough news is hitting CBS News. The company announced Friday it's laying off about 6% of its around 1,100 workers. It comes just 6 months after broader layoffs at parent company Paramount also impacted CBS. This time the cuts appear more targeted. Sources say they come from obsolete operations and poor moral. Editor-in-chief Barry Weiss noticed when she joined the network in October. Weiss is also shutting down CBS Radio entirely. Sources say she wanted to save it but had no choice because it stopped generating revenue. Homeless advocates say they're concerned about a new agreement between the Departments of Veterans Affairs and Justice. It allows the VA to initiate conservator guardianship proceedings for certain vets. The VA says it's to help people in VA facilities are unable to make care decisions and don't have family to step in. Advocates worry the effort might be aimed at discharging homeless veterans before services or housing are available for them. Some say past Trump administration efforts around homelessness involved forced treatment and penalization. Advocates say the president did not keep his promise to find places for people to stay when he had D.C. homeless encampments cleared out. One of Hollywood's favorite action heroes has passed. Chuck Norris has died at 86 years old. His family made the announcement on social media today, a day after he reportedly suffered an unspecified medical emergency in Hawaii. The martial artist enjoyed a long career in film and television, followed by viral fame on the internet. His major breakthrough came in 1972 when he played an opponent to Bruce Lee in the movie The Way of the Dragon. That paved the way for Norris to develop his tough guy image that he continued in Missing in Action and Delta Force films. The Artemis II rocket is back on its launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida about a month after the last attempt was postponed. The massive rocket was slowly rolled out overnight with the Orion capsule on top. Altogether, it weighs more than 11 million pounds. Now NASA scientists are running through a checklist as they prepare for the first launch window to open on April 1st. The plan is for 4 astronauts to blast off into space where they will test the capsule, circle the moon, and head back to Earth.
This flight's really the first step in NASA's road back to the moon. They're hoping to launch a test flight next year in Earth orbit to test new lunar landers being built by SpaceX and Blue Origin. And if those flights go well, NASA hopes to launch 1 and possibly 2 moon landing missions in 2028, but it's going to be very difficult.
CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood says the lunar landers are far from being finished, putting the timeline in jeopardy. Last month, the Artemis II launch was postponed when NASA discovered a problem with the rocket's helium pressurization system. The White House released its National Artificial Intelligence Legislative Framework today. The purpose is to help nationalize policy on AI. President Trump issued an executive order in December that blocks states from enforcing their own regulations. The new framework calls on Congress to give parents better tools to manage their children's digital presence. It also calls for requiring data centers to generate their own power on site. The framework has additional language aimed at forbidding AI providers from banning partisan content. Coming up after the break, can you blame your parents for your allergies? From sneezing to serious reactions, what experts say about whether it's really in your DNA. And a theater company is changing the way audiences see the stage by spotlighting actors who can't see at all. How one man's vision is breaking barriers and inspiring a new kind of performance.
We talked much of the week of breaking a record today for a high temperature. Let's see how close we came. 86 the high today, 87 the record, so we fell just 1 degree shy in Tyler. Longview, we were 5 degrees off the mark, and Lufkin, 6 degrees off the mark. Warm day though, 83. Coming up, we'll talk about the warmer weekend, a chance to make a run at 90 degrees tomorrow and again on Sunday.
We can pin responsibility on our parents for a lot of things, but can we blame them for our sneezing, wheezing, and allergic reactions? The question, are your allergies largely inherited? Megan Bragg verifies.
Our source is Dr. Alec Gupta, allergist with Atrium Health, the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, and the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic explains when you have allergies, what's happening is this. Your immune system makes antibodies that identify an allergen as harmful when it isn't. Your immune system then reacts, activating inflammation of the skin, sinuses, airways, or digestive system. And those allergies are often passed down from parents to children, according to the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology.
Food allergies, seasonal allergies, asthma, some forms of asthma, eczema, they all fall under this kind of category. If your parents had one of those things, then yeah, the risk is that your child could be more genetically susceptible to developing one of those other things.
Dr. Gupta says the risk of having an allergy increases when one or both parents have one. However, that doesn't mean their children will have the exact same allergy.
Even if both parents had the shrimp allergy, doesn't necessarily mean that you're at a higher risk of having a shrimp allergy. You could have a higher risk of having eczema.
Dr. Gupta says it also doesn't mean these inherited allergies will always show up.
Or if your parents had that genetic, not necessarily dysfunction, but just kind of change, then you have that genetic change. It doesn't always show up.
So we can verify that, yes, susceptibility to allergies is largely inherited. However, that doesn't mean you will display the exact same allergic reactions as your parents do. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
Brett, do you have any major
I do.
allergies?
Ragweed, yeah. Hay fever.
Okay.
And I don't know that my parents ever had it, but
What happens when you encounter?
Oh, when I get ragweed or like hay fever, I break out in a rash,
Ooh.
get like really scratchy eyes, kind of
Goodness.
sneeze and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't like it.
We'll steer clear of that.
Yeah, usually August into September, and
Okay.
more so.
Feels like August.
Yeah, it does. Well,
For
yeah,
me,
kind of in late
for me it
August.
does,
Yeah, for
you know.
you, it kind of does though if you think about it. Because I was thinking about going into summer in June, but we're really coming out in the other end, sort of August, September. It's kind of like that in the terms of
Okay.
the temperatures. Let's talk about all-time March highs. 92 is the warmest it's ever been in Tyler in March, and we could come close to that Saturday or Sunday. Longview and Lufkin are safe at 97. We won't be that warm. I'll call it warm. I'm going to save hot for the summertime. 86, 87, 88, 89. That's warm. All things. I mean, yeah, hot for March, but warm, relatively speaking, to what the temperatures are that we experience here in East Texas. Big ridge of high pressure, or what we call higher heights aloft, meaning that the air is piling up. It's very high. When you have a lot of less dense air, it can pile up, and that'll be the case through the weekend. It also directs and deflects any type of storm system around us, so we stay high and dry. And for the most part, a lot of sunshine, warm tonight, 89 tomorrow. 90 on Sunday would tie the record high for Sunday. 84 Monday, mostly sunny. The difference on Monday is the winds are more southeasterly. So instead of coming out of this dry, hot location out of the southwest and out of southwestern Texas, they're coming out of the southeast, so there's a little bit more moisture involved, and so that'll hold the temperature down just a little bit. There's no clouds out there tonight. It is absolutely clear. Tomorrow, fire weather watch in effect, West Texas into Oklahoma. For us, we don't have an official fire weather watch, but we do have elevated concerns for fire tomorrow, especially across parts of East Texas. Still a good night to go camping at Tyler State Park, but use caution. Remember to douse those campfires. Make sure that they are cool to the touch. If you have to put 2 buckets of water on them, do that. Make sure that they are completely out. 6 a.m. temperature, 64 degrees by Sunday morning, but it should be a great night for camping Saturday night into Sunday morning. Rainfall next 7 days. No rain, as we talked about. Forecast for tonight's a starry night. A clear sky, 61 for the overnight low. High temperature tomorrow at Mount Pleasant, 89. Sulphur Springs, probably going to be one of our warmest spots at 91. In our central counties, 90 at Athens, 88 at Jacksonville, 89 at Longview and Tyler, deep East Texas. Lufkin and Nacogdoches solidly there at 85 degrees. Baylor Scott and White Texas Spine and Joint Hospital. 7-day forecast, 89 Saturday, 90 on Sunday, 84 Monday. Stays dry Tuesday up to 83, 87 on Wednesday, back to 89 by Thursday, and 85 by Friday. Don't forget, registration's now open for the 4th annual CBS 19 Urban Kids Fishing Derby. That's going to be April 25th at Waldert Park from 8 to noon. It's free. If you don't have a fishing rod, that's okay. We'll have one for you. Hope to see you on April 25th, Waldert Park, for the 4th annual CBS 19 Urban Kids Fishing Derby.
I'm looking forward to that, Brett. The fishing derby, it's a hoot and a holler if you haven't had a chance to catch it. Check it out this year. But for one California theater company, the mission isn't just entertainment, it's changing the way people see blind actors. CBS's Gwen Bumgardner shows how one man's vision is improving lives while encouraging other theaters to follow suit.
Come on, give it up! Give it up!
Greg Shane's enthusiasm for LA's Theater by the Blind isn't an act. For more than 15 years, he's been a trailblazer in the industry, creating what he says is the only all-blind theater company in the country.
Everyone is vision impaired and totally blind.
You have so much in common after all.
All of these moments allow them to feel true independence.
Each performance invites the audience to re-examine what ability looks like, a shift some cast members experience too.
And he told me about how they created this environment that allowed blind people to actually be on stage, perform, and he said, but you can't use your cane. I said, really? Okay.
Marvin Dexter Moore lost his vision to glaucoma 12 years ago, but just gained a starring role in his first play, the sold-out production of Off Key.
There are people out there like me, or that are handicapped, that think they can't do it, but they have talent and they have a desire.
Greg incorporates textured mats along the floor to help the cast orient themselves on stage, along with steadying props like tables and chairs. There are challenges.
Absolutely, but what's amazing is figuring out the way to move forward through those challenges.
According to the CDC, 7 million Americans have vision impairment, and more theaters are starting to see the need for more accessibility. At this tactile tour in Madison, Wisconsin, audience members can feel what they can't see, passing around props used on stage.
And which dress is this?
The arts change people's lives. I really believe that.
A result worthy of a standing ovation. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
In the summer of 2013, Minnesota resident Gary Herb seemingly disappeared. Years later, investigators made a startling discovery. 48 Hours correspondent Peter Van Zandt has that story.
In December of 2017, the Barron County Sheriff's Office in rural Wisconsin received an unusual 911 call, says Detective Jeff Nelson.
From a homeowner reporting that their family dog brought back a human skull.
Authorities soon determined the victim had died from a gunshot wound to the back of the head.
We were reviewing missing persons cases, but nothing was definitive to who this victim was.
3 years later, finally, a match from the remains to 57-year-old Gary Albert Herbst. Investigators headed to his last known address. Gary's wife and son had moved out after his disappearance, but former neighbors Chad and Kaya Crammel say Gary was combative.
He was just an evil person.
Did you feel he was a dangerous man?
Absolutely.
And they remembered noticing something strange happening late one night around the time he went missing.
I see the neighbors scrubbing the floors. I see them scrubbing the walls.
They eventually brought out a rolled up carpet, and Chad looked at me and he said, "Kaya, I think they finally killed him."
Joining us now from New York is 48 Hours correspondent Peter Van Zandt. Peter, when authorities tried to figure out exactly who killed Gary, I'm guessing obviously they eventually spoke to the wife and son. What did they tell the authorities?
Well, that's when the intrigue really began in this case, because Connie, the wife, and Austin, the son, told authorities that after a big argument some years earlier, Gary, the husband and father, packed up a suitcase, took $5,000 in cash of the family's money, took his wife Connie's wedding ring, went out the front door and got into a vehicle driven by a stranger, a man that they did not recognize. They drove off and they claimed they never heard from Gary again. And investigators thought this was all pretty fishy, particularly since they did not file a missing persons report for 9 months, and that was only after one of Gary's siblings contacted them and said, "What do you mean he's gone? File a missing person report." And that's when things started really taking off in this case.
Now, the night the neighbors saw walls being scrubbed in the house and the rug being taken out, did they really think Gary had been murdered? And why didn't they just call the police by that point?
Well, they talk about that in my interview, and sort of jokingly said to her husband, the husband said, I think they finally killed him. It was a night, the rain was coming down, there was a thunderstorm, it was after midnight, and they watched a car go to the back of the house. Gary loved his lawn and would never allow it to be disturbed like that, and watching all of that loaded up, it was very suspicious to them, but they didn't feel like they had enough to call the police. Later, when they learned that Austin had been accused of murdering his father and that his mother had been arrested too, the neighbors actually rallied around them and asked and hoped that they would not be prosecuted for this crime, because they thought Gary basically had it coming.
A must-see episode, like you mentioned, Peter. Thank you so much, and you can watch 48 Hours tomorrow night at 9 right here on CBS 19.
All right, before we go, check this out. The Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer now holds the record for most online views in a 24-hour period. Variety reported it earned almost 719 million clicks in a day. That's just shy of doubling the previous record that Deadpool and Wolverine held. Tom Holland plays Spider-Man in the new film, with Zendaya reprising her role as MJ. Brett, are you up to date? Are you well versed on the Spider-Man movies?
No. I don't know that I've seen any with Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, but not Tom Holland. So I need to get up.
I'm a Tobey Maguire truther myself.
Oh, you are?
So, yeah. There's some fierce debate online between the Tobey Maguire fans and the Andrew Garfield fans. I forgot his name.
Okay.
The Tom Holland fans. I'm a Toby truther for life.
Okay, I am too.
So there's that.
All right, there's no debate that it's going to be warm this weekend. Take a look at this 7-day forecast. 89 tomorrow, 90 on Sunday, 84 Monday and Tuesday. We're in the lower 80s, and then back to the mid and upper 80s by Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, in CBS 19, we'll have some programming changes today due to March Madness coverage. At 6, we'll stream a half-hour newscast on CBS 19 Plus, and then at 6:30, enjoy an encore presentation of our spring weather special. Then after all the March Madness action, join us for CBS 19 News at 10 at 10:30. Hopefully at 10:30.
10:45.
Yeah, it might be a little later, but we're coming on later tonight. We promise y'all that. Thanks for watching at 5. We'll see y'all on Stream It.